What if I told you that the things in your life you were trying to fix, those fears, doubts, anxieties, stresses, were actually sources of strength? Let me share with you the day I discovered that my broken parts were actually my strength. I started that day like every other day, believing I needed to fix my broken parts. For a long time, I had been training in a powerful healing process called focusing. Like so many others, I saw focusing as another tool to fix what I thought was wrong with me, another way to become better. And I was using it with great results as a way to respond to life's challenges. I was carefully navigating all the kinds of triggers that can create emotional hijacks. And I thought I understood the power of focusing was about overcoming triggers. That's what I believed. Until there was a moment that completely unraveled everything I thought I knew about triggers, about fixing, about focusing. Suddenly it hit me like a wave of clarity. It was a truth so surprising, it actually kind of took my breath away. Everything I'd been trying to fix, every part I thought was broken, actually held hidden strength for me. I realized that the peace that I call being self in presence that was there between fixes. But it wasn't about erasing all the parts of me to create that peace and get rid of the triggers. Actually, those parts had been protecting the younger me from more emotional pain and failure and shame, but they were protecting me as if I had never grown up. If you've had an inner critic, you know it often talks down to you like it's the adult in the room. And we try to push it away or fix it, when in fact, it's really a source of strength and wisdom. The focusing process wasn't about silencing the voices of fear and control or doubt. Instead, it was about something much bigger, something transformational. That peace, that feeling of self and presence could become a way of living on a regular basis, not just a moment by moment thing. In that moment, I finally understood that those parts of me, those parts I was trying to push away, they weren't enemies. They're actually loyal companions. For so long, they had been working tirelessly to protect me, even when their methods didn't always serve me very well, even when they sounded like inner critics. And suddenly, I saw them differently. These weren't broken parts needing to be fixed. They weren't weaknesses to overcome. They were sources of incredible strength wrapped in protective layers of fear and doubt. Their energy, their loyalty, their persistence, and their resilience, they weren't flaws. They were sources of strength waiting to be embraced by me. I could allow them to exist without letting them always take the lead. Or, to use a metaphor, giving them the keys to my car and be a passenger. I could keep the keys and they could continue to sit with me and talk to me. And we could talk about what they're worried about. I could welcome them with compassion and transform their energy into something very powerful. I simply call it a sense of radical acceptance. That's not about being passive, but it's about being able to have a creative response to situations rather than a fear based reaction to situations. And with that level of acceptance came a profound shift for me. I no longer had to live in a fear based reaction world. Instead, I could step into a state of creative response and being open to what reality is and flexible and fluid in my responses and stay alive and not go into automatic pilot. Just live my life. I was suddenly seeing the world like it was in color for the first time. Life wasn't and isn't about controlling or conquering my inner world. It's about partnering with it, focusing wasn't just a practice to use in a crisis, it became my default way of being. In the face of uncertainty, I could sense the way my body was responding. I could gently disidentify from the thoughts and feelings that the parts were giving me that weren't about here and now, but about there and then. And this elegant process of focusing, this discipline, this act of sensing and being present opened a whole new path for me, a path to discernment, a path to inner wisdom, a path to my body's inner knowing. And it's a realization now I carry with me every day. If you're hearing this, I want to share something with you. These parts of you that feel messy or chaotic or broken, the very parts you spent years trying to fix, they're not the weaknesses you think they are. They're holding strengths you haven't yet discovered. I know because discovering this changed everything for me. What if I told you that your greatest strength isn't hiding somewhere in your fixed self in the future, but living right now in the very parts that you've been trying to fix? When you're ready to stop fixing and start living in peace and confidence that we all want and deserve, let me know. I know that path. I've lived it. Thank you.